morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, now Thursday, number 8 day for this number 9 month for the year 2022. My name is Capo Daniel, the spokesman of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Pass King, our own countryman. Welcome to our daily podcast, a program where they bring meaningful information, fact-based analysis, the truth, to help we as we work for this journey to our freedom, the independence of Ambazonia. Good citizens of Ambazonia, Cameroon have been defeated and defeated fatly as Ambazonian community school across our national territory. They open their door for our students them. Ambazonian, the way they began run enter for inside La Republic for study, they then they come back en masse. The previous year them way be the mark Ambazonians them. They shamefully carried their trunk them, put them for inside motor them. They go for La Republic for go study. That trend it then be changed. Today, the Ambazonian they easily get motorway they come off for Ambazonia. As na sign say less people they travel. While motorway they enter Ambazonia it they pack and people they need for book at least 2 days before their travel date. La Republic it be furious. They vex because their school them where they be down open and say Ambazonia they go can't enter for day. Their ministry the way we supposed to go to pay rents for day, while people they come back for can study within our community school. The one a big congratulations for the governing council and all those who did not help for our community education. The seed will be the plantam 3 years ago. It don't reach time for harvest. Me the war is say indeed Ambazonia they stand for education. For the past 3 years, Cameroon, with the help of enablers, they be convince the whole war. Say Ambazonian people them they just reject education. They don't want any education at all. We don't fight through the governing council targeted diplomacy for sure the war. Say indeed Ambazonia they fight now only against Cameroon government schools, and we want our own education for Ambazonian education because we start this war triggered by a movement led by teachers. Today, Cameroon government out of frustration, it then ban all Ambazonian community school, including the school that hold and authorize them, where they include religious schools and private institutions. This one it then proof for the war. Say Cameroon they fight now against Ambazonian schools. Now we the Ambazonian people they would then take the responsibility. And today, Bamenda, this it then be shown clearly as Lele Afrique, after failure for open any Cameroon government school in a significant manner under their guidelines, because the Cameroon government if they insist say make all school pikin and then wear uniform. We for Ambazonia, our authority will reject them. Talk say make all pikin and go for school without uniform. Even inside the Cameroon government school, the Cameroon government school pikin them where they for day less than 200. All of them, none of them no be succeed for wear school uniform. It come for school. Cameroon government it then ban and it punish our private institution. Them say they deny for wear uniform. If their own government school no fit wear uniform, that means they don't be defeated completely. I will see how our teacher them be brave. Then fight with Cameroon gendarme terrorists them. May they no hang their flag for their school, even though it be in a Cameroon government school property. The school picking them then reject for whole Cameroon flag, then force them, and you go see clearly say that they push the flag for in front for show say they no hold them. Newspaper them across Ambazonia it don't capture them. It talk how parents them too they threaten for move their picking them because La Republic they can't force them and hold a flag way symbolize Cameroon brutal subjugation war against Ambazonia. Ambazonia have defeated La Republic fatly. La Republic, as usual, they don't always stand for the most vulnerable ones of Ambazonians, people with empty head, soldiers them where they don't be used again against like a shower by the IG group in the diaspora. We'll be happy for here say the soldier that they cut off themselves from their IG leadership way for diaspora. But the Ambazonian Governing Council, where now a force on the ground and membership on the ground go continue to lead their forces and their people them through our instruction and our leadership will be based out of the country for security reasons. The Ambazonian Governing Council, our force was trained by our members who were all born on ground zero, who has fought war on ground zero and were the pioneer of Sokadef on ground zero before they travel up outside to look for diplomacy and have learned and had experience and come back on ground zero, recruited soldiers, trained them, provide them with weapons before deploying them. We are a force on the ground and will continue to be that way, and we continue to provide sound guidelines for our people to follow throughout this liberation war. If there is anything like witchcraft, we don't see how Ambazonian soldier them, they don't carry gun, attack our own innocent civilian them, shooting a civilian vehicle, killing multiple people them with live bullet for a corner. The soldier then get the guts for call me Capo Daniel for talk say, Capo Daniel, you see, you don't talk say me lockdown, no, they see the people they will go kill them before you. Is this not so stupid? And you have a group of Ambazonian call themselves SCAF members under Mark Barata. They come out to say they are supporting this type of lockdown and even try to accuse people who have opened up community schools, opened up our country for the purpose that is justified, for the actions of these criminals. Anybody where you feel say you go take live bullet, use indiscriminate force against Ambazonian, if you think that you are fighting against Ambazonian, you're fighting for Ambazonian, no. You are fighting for La Republique, for Atlanganji Paul, because he is the one killing our people and advising people to do the same. Anybody that you see a civilian vehicle with civilian inside, you open live fire to kill them. You are working for your own self, not for Ambazonia. Ambazonia is for those people, those civilians in those civilians' vehicles. And to kill them, to think that because they are disobeying your order, and to think you will blame those who have given order that are contradictory to your order, you must be out of your mind. What you have done is a crime against our people. It can be considered terrorism by foreign partners. And if it is considered in that manner, and you were representative of the whole Ambazonian struggle, it will end Ambazonian fight, because the whole world will come and join Paul Biya to help and fight against us. It is our sound knowledge that have fought against this narrative that has been pushed by Cameroon, which is not justified. That the actions of minority, empty heads like the people behind this atrocity have not defined our struggle. Our struggle must be based on sound mind and the respect of our people's rights, because indeed we are fighting for the people. It is the soldiers for the people, not the peoples for the soldier. The stupidity of this unjustified lockdown was clearly seen in the great state of Bui. Listen to General Maddock, who keep on calling himself speaking for the Bui Unity Warrior. He does not speak for the Bui Unity Warrior because the ADF is the owner, is an equal owner of the Bui Unity Warriors, and he speaks for the splinter Bui Warrior group that he has formed away from Isobu. Listen.
Was the lockdown? Lockdown. It means a lockdown. Yes. FM Bitacola. Now we spokesperson for Ground Zero. Where if he talks, na so he did. Whether na mistake it talk, na so he did. Yes.
So as when I hear Mad Dog it talk, say whether na mistake we talk na say he did. This is a clear demonstration of empty head and foolishness. So, without any justification, he himself is admitting that the order does not matter whether it is justified or not. Their own is just to do it. This is unacceptable. No Ambazonian in his right mind should put his brain on his stomach. You must think, if they ask you to go and kill your brother, you cannot do that. If we are fighting for a democratic country that will restore our dignity, dignity is restored only when rights are respected. This is the same foolishness that caused the Bui warriors to have killed more of its own soldiers than La Republique under Isobu, under General Chacha and Isobu. How many of your own fighters did you murder? How many of them? We have seen our people being slaughtered in a vehicle, in a civilian vehicle, in a bus, in a corner by our own fighters. And the fighter of the Mountain Lions had the guts to call me and claim that, Capo Daniel, you see, because you don't talk, say there's no lockdown, see the people, they will go kill him. Somehow he thinks that the people who ask for no lockdown can be blamed for his criminal actions. And the same thing goes for Ashu Kingsley, who called himself a pastor, who come and was justifying it with the Ambazonian Governing Council activists, claiming that because we say there is no lockdown, so people have been killed. This is stupidity. This is foolishness. If your brain, your IQ is so low that you are going to push out a logic that will justify the same thing Cameroon is doing, that means tomorrow you will blame Ambazonian resistance for Cameroon atrocity. No doubt, some of you you had to apologize to Paul Biya for activities of self-defense. Today, you want to fight for self-defense. You are responsible for your criminal activity, and anything you do against our people, you will be personally responsible. And anybody who supports and give a blank check to people or justify the actions of criminals are culpable to those actions. Some people, they claim that ADF had also asked for lockdown and our soldiers take actions against civilians who disobey. Yes, our soldiers and every soldier have the right to take action to enforce laws. But remember, like Honorable Weber said, if the law is unjust, if injustice becomes a law, resistance becomes a duty. This does not only apply to La Republique, it applies to Ambazonia. Every law we make must be justified and must be marked by something that will benefit our collective interest. When the Ambazonian Governing Council, our soldiers on the ground, declare 1 month lockdown, the Governing Council did not just accept it because it was declared by soldiers on the ground. We challenged it and we reduced it to 5 days because the operation was supposed to last for 1 week. We even reject and reverse the declaration because that declaration itself was wrong. It will make people to be tense for 1 month and be preparing for 1 month and add them extra cost that is not justified. It was because we wanted to allow and facilitate soldiers to move across our territory into our headquarters in liberated areas so that we can organize an attack and take over Bamenda in Sunrise, Operation Sunrise. Soldiers came there, 11 of them were slaughtered. Our lockdown was not for propaganda, it was justified and it has been substantiated. The same people who rejected that lockdown, today they want to claim to support a lockdown that is not even justified. A lockdown that works against Ambazonian nationalism. A lockdown that calls for the removal of a school term, the beginning of Ambazonian school term, to miss the opening of the United Nations General Assembly, where we could showcase our own community school and make the case we have been trying to make all along, that our schools are going on under Ambazonian authority and Cameroon is the problem. They have covered Cameroon's NIAS. They even want to remove the school resumption date till after our Independence Day to sabotage it. Who is advising these people? Definitely their advice is coming from people linked to Atanganji Paul, because he is the only one trying to subdue Ambazonian nationalism. Atanganji Paul is the only one trying to use Ambazonians to kill Ambazonian civilians. So if you walk like a dog, you bark like a dog, you shit like a dog, you are a dog. You are Atanganji Paul boys if you are killing our civilians. You see, in my 6 in Kwen, the 7 Kata Alaji came and opened fire, killed 2 innocent civilians. 2 of them are critically ill in the hospital. Burned cars, seized 14 cars unjustifiably. If the population itself have rejected your lockdown because it is not justified, you cannot force it upon them because you are fighting for the people. That is why when the Ague of Sea, our lockdown, which was even justified, was sabotaged by Ambazonian activists, we came out and we accepted to the people that this is what we wanted to do. It has been sabotaged. We have withdrawn it. You cannot do something for a people without the people. Once you need to kill people before they can listen to you, once you no longer have any logic to give to the people, you have lost your way. You are now working for the enemy. You either change your mind, align yourself, and accept sound and logical thinking that is in line with the aspiration of our people, which have clearly been demonstrated. We have seen our students rejecting Cameroon flag, our parents rejecting Cameroon flag. For the first time, we see the whole Victoria lockdown on Monday to respect Independence Day lockdown. That is indicative enough and guarantee enough to all stakeholders that the population is strongly behind the quest for independence, and we must give them slack. We must fight along them. When Cameroon government is fighting community schools, closing Presbyterian, Catholic and Baptist schools for opening under Ambazonian guidelines, it is for Ambazonian soldiers to stand beside them and fight for them. Do you think you can truly control the population? Oh, they forget so fast that it is us in the governing council who protected Ambazonia from being destroyed from within. When they use you, the same General Alaji, to kidnap over 87 students from PSS Mancon, we came out and defended you. We make sure we could not be tagged as terrorists because of your individual actions. that mimics the attack of Boko Haram in the Chibok girls. When you start to use kidnapping for ransom to raise money, if we did not fight against that kidnapping for ransom, our people would have rejected liberation and stayed as slaves with La Republique. The same people who stayed quiet, they want to still give the same blank check because they think it will give them political leadership. The John Bakoro, the Mark Parata, Kassin Anangwe, and anybody supporting this nonsense have lost the credibility to speak on behalf of Ambazonia or to criticize Cameroon. You cannot promote act of terrorism against your own people and claim to be fighting to liberate them. Align with the governing council. Stop the madness for political relevance. Ambazonia will have enough relevance and enough for everybody that nobody needs to start scrambling for an elephant we have not even seen in the forest. You are fighting against yourself. The governing council is not fighting against you. We are focused on sound principle and we are driven by nationalism. If you really want to lock down your own area of control, go ahead and suit yourself and face the consequences. But you are not doing so on all Ambazonian, and you are definitely not speaking for everybody on ground zero. The unjustified lockdown have been rejected by we the people, and there is nothing you can do about it. You either change and queue up and follow sound knowledge, or you make yourself a fool, a terrorist, and a rejected person. Ask yourself, who are you fighting for? If you want to fight to close down Cameroon government school, will you close it? Will you use lockdown to close it for the whole year, academic year? Definitely not. Sensible decisions means you will use the most appropriate and most effective means with the less cost against you or your people. We have locked the Cameroon government school in Kumba without firing a single shot, without our population being intimidated. Lockdown are not done by use of brute force. It is used by convincing the people, justifying it, and let them know it is reasonable for them to do so. When the people who even have reason, they want to speak, they are unable to do so effectively because of internal sabotage and blackmail that have made it impossible for sound mind, logic to reign in Ambazonia. We do not have any delusion that such individuals, political scammers, are going to bend their tail between their feet and walk away with the shame of being rejected. We will continue to expect them, but we will continue to call on our people to exercise wisdom and smartness as they have done so by rejecting this unjustified lockdown. Bamenda and all Ambazonian territories under our control will remain open, and we call on civilians in other areas that this unjustified lockdown is being imposed on them to reject it. All Ambazonian fighters should fight against La Republique and focus their attention against La Republique's instrument. Political leadership should lie in competent hands. Leadership in groups should lie in confident hands. We must, as a matter of necessity, in accordance with the declaration of the Children and Women's Charter by the Governing Council, provide education, Ambazonian community education to our people, continue to uphold the pillars of our liberation struggle, continue to take over our territory for Ambazonians and empower them with Ambazonians' idea, with Ambazonian symbol, replacing La République du Cameroon one step at a time. Ambazonians should remain vigilant against Cameroon terrorism and continue to collaborate and provide intelligence for our defense forces to liberate our homeland from Cameroon captivity and control. Capo Daniel, signing off.